Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new season of the Purposeful Life Show with your host, Adrian Starks. I'm excited to share some new updates of the show with you, starting with a new look, sound, and energy, as well as a variety of guests coming aboard with intriguing topics of conversation. I hope you enjoy the new level of energy that will be brought to the show. Thank you for all of your support since the very beginning in 2019. Wow, it's been 3 years already? Because of you, the Purposeful Life Show is now in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, and we aim to get it into the top 1%. Continue listening to the show and share it with others. You can also now listen to the show on my Facebook page at Adrian Starks, where you can comment in real time and communicate with me about your aha moments. Thank you again for all of your support, and let's make this one hell of a year and be purposeful about doing that. Wishing you all much love and success. Are you feeling like things are not happening as quickly as they should or not at all? Do you find yourself getting agitated or sad when you see others climbing steadily from one success to the next while you're just getting by? What if you are not moving as slowly as you think you are? What if you're just getting in your own way? Stay tuned to our new episode as we reveal the power of patience. Welcome to the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up podcast with Adrian Starks. If you're looking for the ideas that could be your breakthrough for change in your business, career, or personal life, this podcast is just for you. Join Adrian as he speaks on topics of self-development and interviews a variety of entrepreneurs, business owners, and thought leaders to reveal their ideas and solutions to success and its challenges. Subscribe to the show and leave a review. It's time to champion up and be a courageous creator of change. Welcome back and hello, my champions, my courageous creators of change, to another episode on the Purposeful Life Show with your host. I am Adrian Starks, and thank you for listening. Today, we are going to talk about the power of patience and how we can all use a little bit more patience right now. I have learned that patience is one of the most important key factors to anyone's success, no matter where they are in the world, no matter what their field of interest may be. There are so many people right now who are missing out on their success because they are looking in the wrong places for it. And this is where they're looking. They're looking too far ahead or they're looking too far behind. When you're looking too far ahead, this creates anxiety. When you're looking too far behind in the past, this creates depression and self-doubt. This prevents you from taking on that power of patience. Some are not even aware that they are already successful if they are doing certain things a certain way every single day consistently. Some are even busy watching others and comparing themselves, which causes them to lose pace of what's going on right now, and they think that nothing's happening in their lives. It is happening. If you're watching someone else do something in their life, something's happening there. You're watching them, okay? Patience comes when we take away those distracting factors, such as looking too far to the future, looking too far behind, and comparing yourself to other people. And here's the major contributing factor to people missing out on their success when it comes to patience. We have a misleading thought on the process of what we think success is. Some mistake it for achieving a goal. So if you don't have this goal that you've achieved, then you must not be successful, and that's not true. That's called a result, and we can always cause our results. But let me propose this question to you. What caused the result? That was you. And what did you have to do to get that result? You had to take action. You had to do certain things a certain way, and you had to have a certain pattern or a certain habit, and you had to continuously do that until you got the result. So success is actually an action. It's a movement towards something. And we have to be patient when we're moving toward that thing because there's a number of things that need to take place. You guys follow what I'm saying, right? I discovered this great idea through a thought leader that enamored me, and I consider him to be the dean of motivation. That's Mr. Earl Nightingale. As I was building myself up through a consistent schedule of reading on psychology and personal development, I was going to workshops and seminars. I came across his definition of success, and that is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal or goal. It was this exact definition that I discovered the power of patience through success. when you think about it, it does make sense. If you're moving towards something that's a worthy cause or a worthy goal, then you're actually successful. But a lot of us, we don't get this, and we certainly don't buy it as we're going through an arduous journey toward that thing we're trying to attain. This happened to me in 2019 as I was preparing for one of the greatest talks of my lifetime. And this was at the Get Inspired Talks in Vancouver, British Columbia. I spoke to an audience of over 800 people. And before that time of getting on stage, I had to go through 5 months of preparation. That is practicing in front of Toastmaster groups, and that's not easy because they're watching your every move. I had to practice in front of friends and family. I had to also practice in front of other organizations. So this was very hard. And there were times where I felt very doubtful, and I wondered if I was going to make it to that stage and what was going to happen along the way. Was I going to burn out? Was I going to forget my lines? So the question here is, did I feel successful as I was doing this? I did it sometimes, and there were some times I didn't feel successful because I didn't see the result. I wasn't on the stage, right? There were some times I didn't feel like I was my best. I remember my coach during that time telling me, Adrian, it's one talk at a time, one word at a time, one sentence at a time. And with repetition, you're going to get better. Trust the process. And this is what I mean here. Us trusting the process of patience. If you are doing what you need to do and you are preparing yourself and you are being active toward the thing that you want to achieve, you're actually successful. Don't let anyone else tell you any different. There are still so many people who do not realize that they are successful because they don't see the finish line. And here's the thing. It's not about the finish line. It's about what you're doing between now and when you get to the finish line. This reminds me of the Aesop fable, The Tortoise and the Hare. There's a lot of lessons I've learned from this story. I am sure many of you are familiar with the phrase, slow and steady wins the race. You may have heard this in a business meeting or through a workshop or through a seminar, and I'm going to share something very deep with you about this particular fable or this story because it's more than just slow and steady wins the race. You see, the tortoise is like a lot of us. He's got a lot of weight on its back, and it's moving slow because that's the only thing it can do. But it's noticing the people who are just jumping up, going from one success to the next, or people who seem to always have things go their way. And here's the key. Nothing is as it really is. It's only as you think it to be. Remember what I said back in the beginning. One of the problems we have is comparing ourselves. Don't do that. The tortoise did not compare itself to the rabbit, right? The tortoise knew the rabbit was faster. The rabbit knew the rabbit was faster. Come on. But the tortoise had one thing the rabbit didn't have. That was focus. That was concentration. And the tortoise knew that if I take one step in front of the other, I'm going to get to that finish line. That's all I need to worry about. I'm not trying to get there fast. I'm just trying to get there. So I thought about this particular story a little bit more. And I said, oh my goodness. There is one word here that really sums up everything, and that is complete. The tortoise was in this race to complete. Now, the rabbit was in the race to compete. How many of you right now are out here competing versus just focusing on completing what you have set your mind out to do? This is the most important thing to understand about the power of patience. To set your mind and your heart on something and to work out the details by planning it out and then setting goals for yourself to make sure you go through with that plan and trust the process of things unfolding. Things are not going to happen overnight. Things are not going to happen the way that you want them to happen, but the power of patience comes from you understanding that the clock is always ticking in your favor if you work with it instead of against it. And the way that you can work with it is to be patient and not to think too far ahead or think too far behind. So back to my story about being in front of that audience. If I would have not remained patient through that 5-month process of preparation and making the mistakes, understanding that I had to go back, do things over and over again in order to get better, wiser, and stronger and deliver the message of a lifetime about embracing change, then I wouldn't have made it to that stage. I would like to share that moment with you. Go to the link in this podcast episode that I'm going to provide, and that's going to take you to the actual Get Inspired Talks, and it's called Embracing Change While Growing Forward. As we're growing forward today on this conversation in this podcast, remember that success is all about activity and moving towards something. Even when you achieve something, you still can be successful along the way of achieving something else. Success never stops. It's actually a way of living. To me, success is a succession of activities taking you closer to your goal, no matter how slow or how fast you may be going, my friend, my champion. You're hearing me out here. It's taking you closer to your goal, no matter how small or large that step may be. Are you hearing me, champion? So Ralph Emerson, actually, I love reading about certain people, and he also inspired me with a very powerful quote about patience. And Ralph said this: "We should all adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." Oh, wow. Isn't that a powerful quote? Her secret is patience. Are you being patient enough with yourself right now? Think about that. Have you been too hard on yourself? Do you need to give yourself a little bit more credit for what you're doing? I think you do. Here are some action steps I'm going to provide you to help you take on more of the power of patience in your personal and your business life. The first step is this: understand that things take time. Everything will not happen overnight. So you can't rush the clock, and you certainly can't stop it. Just be mindful of that. Understand things take time. Set a date to when you want to accomplish something, but don't rush the process. Allow things to unfold as they should. The second step is watch what you are doing and not the clock, okay? The clock does not care what you're doing. It has a mission. It's going forward. So should you. For me, at the end of every week, I take a look at what I have accomplished pertaining to my goal. This is what we call confidence boosters. You set up goals that you accomplish, and you go back at the end of the week and you look at what you have done. This is part of your accountability and support to yourself. So set that up at the end of every week. Look at what you've accomplished. This will build your confidence, and it will show you that although you may be moving slow or you may be taking those small steps, you are still moving toward the goal. Remember the tortoise and the hare. Keep one foot in front of the other. The third step I want to share with you is don't compare yourself to others. I mentioned this earlier today when we first got started. Don't compare yourself to others. You have no idea what other people are doing. If you're watching someone else, you're losing your own pace. Everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own strategy. If you're in the same field of interest, great. But remember that only you can add that human touch to what you're doing because you're different. And if you realize your uniqueness and how different you are, you can actually express yourself a lot better and be seen a lot clearer because you know who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. So don't compare yourself to others. So I'll recap here for you. 1, understand that things take time. Number 2, watch what you are doing and not the clock. Pay attention to that one. And number 3, don't compare yourself to others. This is going to help you get out of your own way and to prevent you from being frustrated, from being stressed, and even being stuck. I have been there on multiple occasions, and I don't want that for you. It's time for you to start taking more of that step towards your journey, because the journey's pretty long. It's not going to be overnight, so might as well take those steps that really matter. Let's get you one step closer to the journey of your success. If you're looking for a way to make some changes on your path, or even to help yourself with seeing where you are and how far you're going, and to prevent yourself from going backwards, go to my website, championup.net, and click on the Take Actions tab to fill out an application to do a complimentary call with me. Would love to see how we can work together. And remember, patience is power. Until then, I encourage you to be that courageous creator of change in your life. This is the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast with myself, Adrian Starks, and thank you for listening. Subscribe to the show and connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube at Champion Up with Adrian Starks. Go to championuppodcast.com to be inspired by more life-changing content. Until then, I encourage you to be that courageous creator of change in your life.